G'day guys, Wearman here. Welcome back to the workshop. It's been a little while, but we're back again. I'm in kind of a branching burrow at the moment, actually, and I'm just picking up more rules as I go along. And I found two optional attacks that I thought were kind of cool. So I'm here with Adam to discuss them. Say hey, buddy.
Hello. Optional rules are always fun to look at.
They're always fun to look at. And there was one that I was reading through earlier, and I think this sentiment applies to basically all of them. It applies to some more than others, but basically all of these rules are optional, and you should really seriously think about what they're going to do to your game before you chuck them in, or try them out in like an arena-style combat situation or something like that. Say, look, I want to try hurried movement out. I want to try hold down out. I want to try my advanced crit ammo and engine crit rules out, and just throw a few mechs into an arena and see what happens. And then you can decide whether you want to put it in a serious scenario or not. But there's two optional attacks. Well, there's a whole bunch of optional attacks, but two of the easy ones that I've come along. I found the jump jet attack, which probably everybody knows about in a kind of lore type way. I think there's a couple of these examples in the novels, but you've read more novels than me, so you might know.
Are you referring to like Death from Above?
No, like actually using your jump jets as a weapon.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So there is some example. I can't remember which novel it was, but there was someone in like a light mech, like a Stinger or something. We're talking like 30, 25-ish era or something. And they were doing like martial arts style level stuff. And well, this is jump jets for it.
Yeah, this is basically just point the jump jet at somebody and burn them with it.
Oh, so it's more.
It's a jump jet attack.
Right,
you're using your jump jet as a weapon.
Oh, nice.
They say in here it's known colloquially as the I am Jade Falcon maneuver. So someone will like that.
I am Jade Falcon.
I am Jade Falcon. Apparently they're pretty good at it.
Okay.
So it can only be used against targets adjacent to the attacker, and follows all standard rules for physical attacks. So I'm fairly certain this counts as a physical attack. It's in the physical attack section. It's listed as a physical attack. So you can do all your weapons attacks and all of that sort of stuff. As long as you don't use any weapons in leg or legs, you can use the jump jets that are in those leg or legs to perform an attack as if they were a weapon.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes.
So only mechs with undamaged jump jets. No mechanical jump boosters, because the mechanical jump boosters are like a spring-loaded piston thing. They're not a burning jet thing. So,
I see.
So only undamaged jump jets in the legs can make a jump jet attack, and only if they are prone or at one level higher than the target. Okay, so it's a bit weird. You have to actually be prone to pull it off to its fullest extent, but you know how you almost always end up in the situation where you're standing one level above someone and you're trying to kick their head off. Now you've got an option.
Other than
kicking their head off.
Kick and try to get... Okay.
Yeah. So if the attacking mech is standing, it can only attack a target directly in front of and one level below it. This is all in TAC Ops, and it's all between pages 90 and 91, just in case you guys were reading along. It can only attack with the jump jets mounted in one leg, may make no attacks with weapons mounted in that leg during that turn. Okay, so you basically just stick your leg in their face and fire your jump jets off and balance yourself to sort of... right? Prone mechs can only make jump jet attacks against a target in the hex directly behind them. Right, so if you're prone, you're firing your leg jump jets backwards. It's just assumed that you're on your... like your facing is where your head is, basically.
Right.
So you're firing your leg jump jets backwards and sort of like bracing yourself.
Okay.
Right. The attacker may use jump jets mounted in either or both legs, provided that the legs used have not fired weapons in the same turn. The base 2-hit number for this type of attack is equal to the attacking unit's piloting skill rating. All other appropriate modifiers apply. including the firing while prone modifier if the attacker is prone. So I'm pretty sure there's a +1 or a +2 for firing while you're prone. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is out there somewhere. So if you're firing from a prone position, that is included.
Well, that's helpful because that would that would make it quite difficult.
So if the attack hits, it inflicts damage equal to the number of jump jets mounted in each attacking leg times 3.
Times 3?
Times 3. Now, most mechs can only fit 2 jump jets, I'm fairly certain.
Yes, that's right.
It's 2 spaces in the legs, right? Yeah, so 6 from each leg if you've got full jump jets in the legs. So this is by no means a huge damage, but, I mean, it's an option that you can put in there, and it's something that they even say is a desperate measure. So it's something that you're using as an ultimate backup type thing. All my other weapons are gone and I can't kick. Whoa.
Okay.
You know? So, yeah. If both legs are used, determine hit location for each leg's jets separately. The damage from each leg's jets strike a single location. So if you have 1 jet in each leg, you'll do 3 points with each one, and you target them separately. The locations are rolled separately. Okay? It's one location per leg, basically, not per jump jet.
Okay.
Yeah. Jump jets again. Yeah. Okay. If they're both used, you do them separately. I did that. So the damage from each strikes are determined on the appropriate column on the mech or vehicle hit location table. So it's not striking the legs, I don't think. It says appropriate column of the mech or vehicle hit location table. So presumably if you're doing it while you're prone, you're hitting them full body. So you can lift your leg up and try and hit them in the chest sort of thing.
Yes, because they're not prone.
Yeah.
And their facing is basically normal, essentially. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'm waiting. I'm hoping that there's going to be something included in this attack.
I know what you mean.
You're still going.
Yeah, but so there's one more paragraph, and I think it's the paragraph you're waiting for.
Yeah.
So the attack generates heat as normal for the number of jump jets fired. Yeah. This heat is also applied to the target unit for units that track heat. Oh! That was what you were waiting for, wasn't it, buddy? Yeah.
See, there it is. That's really good.
So basically each jump jet is generating 1 point of heat as well as 3 points of damage. And you're targeting your legs separately. So, yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
Extra heating up is really, it's good. I mean, obviously it's great against, units that don't track heat per se. If you can come up with something to
You're
really
still doing the solid, it isn't a solid amount of damage. It's a pretty crap amount of damage actually, but yeah. Okay, it's a +2.
+2 with prone if you're attacking from prone.
I've been flicking through and confusing myself, but there it is. It's +2 for prone. But it is a piloting skill check, not a gunnery check. Right. So remember that.
Right. If you're a quad, you get bonuses, I think, on your
piloting
because you're a quad.
Because you're a quad, yeah. So if you were standing one above, you would be able to use any on either front or rear legs to target someone below you.
Yeah, that's pretty handy.
Which would be cool. You can only do it one if you're standing up, but one leg. But you still get to do it. So you just have to do one leg because you've got to balance yourself on the other one. The other one that I find really, really cool, that I actually quite like, is a variation of the kick. So tripping is actually a thing. You can technically trip someone. So it's like a leg hook or a leg sweep attack intended to knock the target off its feet. Only biped mechs can make it, and only against other bipedal mechs. Okay, so you can't sweep with a quad, and you can't sweep the legs out from under a quad. Okay, that's not allowed. So it's bipeds on bipeds only. Base 2 hit number for the attack is equal to the attacking unit's opponent's piloting skill rating, applying a -1 to hit modifier, in addition to all other standard modifiers. If the attack is successful, the target unit must make a successful piloting skill roll at the end of the physical attack phase or fall. Unlike a kick, a failed attack does not require the attacker to make a piloting skill roll. And that is its saving grace. That's the one thing that's different. Because when you kick someone, they still have to make a check to see if they fall. But if you miss, you have to make one.
That's right.
With this, if you hit them, they have to make a piloting check to see if they fall, but you don't have to make one if you miss. So that's, I mean, I would introduce that. If I introduced that, it would be the only type of kick I did. Biped versus biped, it would be the only type of kick I pulled off. So, because then if I miss, I'm not hurting myself.
Yeah, that's true.
So that one is actually pretty powerful. If you introduce tripping and not many of the people in your group use quad mechs, then you are going to have people all use tripping because there's no solid defensible reason to not do it. Except that I don't think it actually does damage. It doesn't mention here that it does any damage. It just tips them over. So that could be the thing. I'm gonna look further, but
I mean, you'd be taking damage from a fall.
Yeah.
You know, assuming you're not using any other optional rules that are out there for that sort of thing.
But it doesn't say takes damage as a normal kick. It doesn't say that it's the same rules as a standard kick modified in this way, which is what they usually do in these rule books. They say follows all the rules for blah blah with the following exceptions. Right. They don't say that here.
Okay.
And it doesn't mention anything about damage. So if you're going for a prone, if you're going to knock your opponent prone, if that's your goal, this is cool, right? Because you don't get the piloting skill if you miss. But I don't think you do any damage with it. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, the pilot has to do a check to avoid.
Yeah, if you hit and they fail their piloting skill check and fall, then they'll have to do another piloting skill check for the fall. So that would be a thing. But I don't think it does any actual damage. So
gyro hit. So they've already got innate penalties and things like that.
Then you
don't want to hurt them as much. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one. And like I say, if the goal is to put the opponent prone, then this is a superior version to the kick. It just doesn't do any damage.
Yeah.
So
I just like the idea of kicking and
sweep the leg.
Yeah, it just
I just want him to do the crane kick thing, and then we're set. We're done. Dear.
I like the option for just getting back to the jump jet attack. That's kind of cool.
It is cool.
It's very thematic, you know.
In like campaign games with the RPG type style games that some of the guys seem to be playing, where they're running players through connected scenarios and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool as a last ditch thing, you know. I'm down, I have somebody just trip me up and I've got to be prone and I can't manage to get up. I'm just going to fire my jump jets at the dude. Or an option to, if you've got two jump jets on a lighter mech that doesn't do as much damage with a kick and you're above someone, then putting 6 points of damage and 2 points of heat into a top-down thing, because I think that would hit the punch table, wouldn't it, if you're above?
If you kick, yeah. If you're doing a kick attack,
then you do. But if you're doing a jump jet attack, it tracks more location like a weapon attack.
That's interesting.
I would say it's
What about so it's doing damage and heat, but what about like standard infantry?
It does not mention doing this against infantry. It's
purely says versus another mech.
Yeah, so prone mechs against base 2 hit number. Damage equal to the number of jump jets mounted in each attacking leg times 3. If both legs are used, determine hit location for each leg's jet separately. And it strikes a single location determined on the appropriate column of the mech or vehicle hit location table.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about infantry in the location thing. So I'd say you're not technically allowed to do this to infantry. But
imagine how effective it would be, though. You know, come on.
Yeah, for all of you other psychos like me out there, I'd just jerry-rig some rules and say, yeah, okay, it does like that spread across X number of dudes or something.
Yeah, you get blown off your feet. You get caught on fire. That's just horrible.
That's a nasty way to go. Yeah, it's not good for them. I know that much. You could just apply that 6 point. I mean, it doesn't technically say that you can't hit infantry with it. It just says that the appropriate column of the mech or vehicle hit location table. So you could technically say, well, those 3 or 6 points of damage from that one leg, or the 6 to 12 points of damage from 2 legs hits the squad.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd want to double that for uncover. I probably wouldn't double that for a clear hex. I'd say that you just do the damage, but it's heat damage as well, and that's a bit iffy because that goes hard against infantry, doesn't it? Really?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, look, I don't know. Just keep it as I mean, it is again an optional rule. So the optional rule only covers vehicles, you know, and mechs or whatever. So don't worry about it. You know, we were talking about the jump jet one. You know, it was only like a biped.
Yeah, that's
attack thing. It's just it doesn't matter. You know, play it as it is, and you probably find that it's probably the best way.
Yeah,
they've probably checked everything already.
Probably,
so it doesn't matter.
It's just an interesting little addition if you feel like it's something you could pull off. I don't know if I'd use like I say, if the goal is to knock somebody down, which sometimes it is. I mean, you get the bonuses and things, and they have to take damage to the pilot. You're doing less damage to the actual mech for salvage purposes. This is my mercenary head doing this. For salvage purposes, you're not doing as much damage to the mech, but you're still putting it in a position where you can, like, threaten to blow his cockpit up or something, right? You're more likely to get them to be able to surrender, sort of thing, if you're playing those sort of rules. But like I say, it doesn't actually mention damage specifically, or that it does the same damage as a kick, or that it does this or does that or whatever. So it's one of those ones where you have to kind of take a guess, and the way it reads is that a successful hit just causes a fall on a failed piloting skill check.
Yeah.
So, but it's still an interesting little idea, and that gives you the, if they can't get up, that gives you the prone shooting thing if you're right next to them, which you have to be for a leg hook. You have to be right next to them, so you're still standing right next to them. You can just shoot them in the next turn.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just gotta hope you win initiative. So you can decide whether you want to move or not, and they're just stuck there.
Just hope they can't get up. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's true. But I mean, again, for a scenario, would be really, really nice. You know, gladiatorial scenario, Solaris sort of thing. You know, tripping rules and stuff.
Yeah,
scoring points for doing certain things. You know,
was the arena thing where I'm talking about like specific things get you victory points. And you could say, well, every time you knock an enemy mech down, you get a victory point.
Yeah.
And you can knock them down continuously. Like, you get next to him and trip him, and get next to him and trip him.
Yep.
Bang, bang, points. Winner!
I mean, a lighter mech with a really, really good pilot could prove to be quite troublesome.
Yeah. And it doesn't say anything about, like, weight classes and things. It's just biped mech versus biped mech, straight piloting skill checks. So, yeah, a light mech can trip you over just as easily as an assault mech, apparently, which is pretty cool.
Because you're focusing on it, so that's pretty... I like that. Very cool. I reckon we could come up with something with that.
We can figure something out. Like the arena style thing that I was thinking of, I was going to say, well, we do the points thing like I've been talking to you about. You guys might not have heard all of this, but I've been talking to Adam about this. And you do that, and then you have like specific things that yours is good at that you want to have there. So there's the base level stuff, and then your specific one is I'm tripping people over or whatever. But
what you're known for in fights.
Yeah, and so you say, okay, put that in there, and say, okay, so every time I get someone to trip over, I get extra points. It's just a little extra bit to chuck in there type thing.
What you expect, sort of thing. A marketing thing.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was thinking of. Was you say you've got your, like I say, your victory point list of things that you can do, and then you're allowed to introduce one optional rule into the arena.
Oh, yeah.
So you could say, okay, my victory points are doing X amount of damage and tripping someone over, or knocking a mech prone, knocking a mech over, and then the optional rule that I'm introducing to this particular arena is tripping. And so that means that you can kick someone and knock them over. You're not damaging them, but you're not also potentially falling over yourself and giving the enemy points.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. Variables are always interesting.
So just those variables that you're using to try to make your game better that could end up making the other person's game better or worse. And just as long as you've got the rules for that option, you can say, okay, I'm this level of arena reputation or whatever points thing you want to call it. I'm allowed to introduce one optional rule, 2 optional rules, 3 optional rules, and these are the ones I'm putting in, sort of thing. So, I'd be machine guns and rapid fire or tripping and stuff like that. That would be, awesome. Oh dear. But, they are 100% optional. All of these rules that we go through in the workshop are 100% optional. Not all of them are going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some of them might be silly. We've seen a lot of comments about people would or would not introduce these into their own games, and I'm sure we'll get some people saying they would or would not want to pull off the Jade Falcon maneuver. But I think that's good enough for those. They're not really huge, but it's still taken us a solid 20 minutes.
Yeah, but you just want to get an understanding of where they'd be useful.
Yeah.
I could see, it's quite interesting. You could use it for scenarios, would be a fantastic little rule for something.
There are a few other optional physical things, but they were 2 quick and easy ones. So we might go through some of the other stuff. There's a whole section on picking things up and throwing things, which I think I've seen someone put a comment down about at some point. So maybe we'll go through them as an hour-long podcast with some visuals and junk at some point. Don't hold your breath, guys. But I think we'll leave that one there. You guys stay groovy, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you later.